Women in the city of Janesville are constantly contributing countless hours to bettering our community. And while we appreciate them every day, this month we celebrate not only the current movement leaders, but our past and future as well.
In this special Women's History Month program, we'll highlight the women who helped make Janesville a vibrant and diverse community to discover life's opportunities. Women's History Month began as a local celebration in Santa Rosa, California, and was originally just a week-long celebration to correspond with International Women's Day on March 8.
The movement spread across the country as other communities initiated their own women's history events. And in 1980, a consortium of women's groups and historians lobbied for national recognition. 7 years later, Congress passed Public Law 100-9 designating March as Women's History Month. Within the city of Janesville, there is no shortage of women who have built a legacy and left their mark in history. Rhoda Lavinia Goodell is one of them. Lavinia Goodell moved to Janesville and began studying law. In 1874, she passed the bar exam. However, a judge denied her application for admittance, saying there was no precedence to admitting a woman. In response, in 1877, Lavinia drafted a bill to allow women to practice law. The state legislature enacted the law, and in 1879, the Wisconsin Supreme Court admitted Goodell to practice, making her the first woman licensed to practice law in Wisconsin.
Real change, enduring change, happens one step at a time. And Lavinia Goodell, the woman we are celebrating here today, really was one of the people that took that first step for women in the law here in the state of Wisconsin.
Shortly before her death in 1880, Lavinia argued and won her first case, Ingalls versus State. The list of influential Janesville women doesn't stop there, though. In fact, we're just getting started. Born in Janesville in 1862, Carrie Jacobs Bond realized at a young age that she was able to learn music simply by listening to it. Encouraged by her second husband, Dr. Frank Lewis Bond, Carrie began writing down her own music and published her songs to bring in additional funds for the family. Arguably, her most famous song, I Love You Truly, has been a wedding favorite and was featured in the classic film It's a Wonderful Life. If her name rings a bell to you and you weren't sure of her legacy before today, it's probably because you've been to Janesville's Bond Park. Occupying the site of her former home, Bond Park is named in her honor. Visitors to the park can find markers and a monument paying her homage. Before she passed in 1946, Jacobs Bond became the first female composer to earn more than $1 million, with President Herbert Hoover calling her America's gallant lady of song. Adding another name to the list of women from the city you should know about is Frances Willard. Born in 1839, Frances was raised on a farm in Janesville. An intelligent and determined child, Frances pursued an education and later a career in academia. In fact, she not only graduated from Northwestern Female College, which merged with Northwestern University, she became the first Dean of Women. As an adult, Frances argued that women should have a right to vote publicly to protect their lives privately. In addition to her efforts as a suffragist, she fought for an 8-hour workday, prison reform, less restrictive clothing for women, and free kindergarten. Her slogan, "Do Everything," encouraged women to engage in social reforms by lobbying, writing letters, speaking, and petitioning. In her honor, Willard's father built and named a schoolhouse after her, and later Frances would attend classes and teach at the schoolhouse. The one-room building is one of the oldest school buildings in Rock County.
Moving us into the 1900s is Doris Tom. Born in Janesville in 1920, Doris's father worked for the Chicago and Northwestern Railroad. After he died in a work-related accident, all Doris's mother was offered by her husband's employer was a free railroad pass, but she insisted the company pay to support their family. Doris was inspired by her mother's successful struggle because not many women at that time were able to fight big companies to get what they needed. As a young adult, Doris worked for Gilman Engineering, where she was not only a member of the Gilman Labor Union, but she was also the first woman elected as the union's recording secretary and the first woman on its executive board. After being fired because she was pregnant, Doris focused on raising her children and working season jobs. She was able to go back to work full-time in 1955 at the General Motors Fisher Body plant in Janesville, where she achieved many important firsts for women at General Motors. In the 1960s, when Doris wasn't allowed to transfer from the all-female cushion department to a job in the all-male higher-paying trim department, she filed a grievance through the Wisconsin Equal Employment Opportunities Commission. Her grievance was successful, and eventually all the plant's jobs were open to women. Doris also became the first female committee members in United Auto Workers Local 95, serving as recording secretary from 1961 to 1968. At a similar time, Eileen Kerr was also paving her own path. Born in 1922, Eileen grew up in Rock County as an artistic child. Eileen's parents encouraged her creativity as she nurtured her craft at Janesville High School, where she branched out from oil painting to various other art mediums. Into adulthood, Eileen began to gain great success in the world of watercolor painting and beyond, receiving many regional and state awards for her craft. Her colleagues remarked that her artwork transferred daydreams into paintings. She was a prominent member of both the Wisconsin Regional Art Association and the Wisconsin Watercolor Society, and was one of the founders of the Tallman Arts Festival. Eileen exhibited her art for nearly 8 decades, and her legacy lives on in the hearts of her family and friends, and in her incredible artwork still featured across the country in homes, businesses, and public buildings.
Though our next featured woman of distinction was not native to Janesville, in 1880 Julia Lovejoy made her mark on the city. Known as the First Lady of Janesville, Julia was the first president of the Rock County Women's Suffrage League. The list of contributions to the city go on and on for Julia, as she also established the first Janesville kindergarten, organized the local Daughters of the American Revolution, and served on the Janesville Public Library Board for several years. Mrs. Lovejoy lived in the Lovejoy Mansion until her passing at the age of 103. In 1953, the YWCA needed larger quarters, and local businessman James A. Craig acquired the home and donated it to the YWCA of Rock County.
Of course, we cannot have a list of featured women without highlighting former council member Emma Manning. Not only is Emma a former council member, but she was the first woman elected to the Janesville City Council, where she served from 1923 to 1927. After her win, the Janesville Daily Gazette wrote,
Mrs. Emma Manning is equipped for the place, and her success in the face of entrenched opposition of those who do not believe a woman should seek public office is a remarkable tribute to her splendid qualities.
Emma was highly active in the community, becoming involved in the women's suffrage movement and working in international peace organizations. On top of all that, Emma was also a member of the Janesville Federation of Women, the Janesville Girl Scouts, the League of Women Voters, the Janesville History Club, and the Janesville Women's Club Association.
All of those ladies have helped pave the way for many of the female leaders we see in our community today, including former state representative Sue Conley. Sue moved to Janesville in 1971, where she had a successful career in the nonprofit sector. Sue served as the executive director for the YWCA of Rock County and worked with the Community Foundation of Southern Wisconsin. After retiring in 2014, Sue continued to serve the nonprofit community as a volunteer consultant, helping with strategic planning and strengthening board governance. In 2017, Sue was elected to the Janesville City Council, and in 2020 was elected council president. Shortly after, State Representative Deborah Kolste announced she would not seek a fifth term in the Wisconsin State Assembly and endorsed Sue Conley, who would eventually win the election and serve as the 44th District Representative from 2021 to 2025. During her time in office, Representative Conley focused on fair electoral maps, reproductive health, updated funding formulas, gun safety, and affordable housing.
Another local leader from the 21st century is Judge Barbara McCrory. In 2012, Barbara was selected as Rock County's first woman judge.
I am Judge Barbara McCrory, and I am the presiding judge here in Rock County. I was elected to the bench back in 2012, and when I was elected to the bench back then, I was the first woman elected to the bench in Rock County.
Yay. Since her election, Judge McCrory has heard criminal, civil, family, and probate cases. She also serves as the presiding judge, handling administrative issues facing the Rock County court system. On top of all that, Judge McCrory also presides over Rock County's drug treatment court, where she meets weekly with participants, encouraging their progress and holding them accountable for their actions. She says some of her happiest days on the bench have happened at drug court graduations. Judge McCrory has not limited her judicial work to Rock County either. She regularly teaches at judicial education seminars, chairs the Family Law Bench Book Committee, and serves on the Record Management Committee, which is a group responsible for all the forms used in Wisconsin's judicial system. With Judge McCrory paving the way, female judges in Wisconsin are becoming more and more common, one of them being Judge Ashley Morse.
In April of 2022, Ashley Morse was appointed by Governor Evers for Rock County Court Circuit, Branch 4. She is the first person of color, the first black woman, and only the second woman to ever serve as a judge in this county.
Judge Morse has worked for the Wisconsin State Public Defender's Office since 2010 and has been based in Janesville since 2014. In addition, she served on the Rock County Trauma Task Force, the Rock County Youth Justice Racial Disparities Committee, and coached the Turner High School mock trial team. In the announcement of that appointment, Governor Evers stated, "Ashley Morse is a recognized and accomplished leader whose dedication to improving the legal system, especially the juvenile legal system, and tireless commitment to justice will make her an excellent judge for the people of Rock County." From the pioneers who paved the way to the women shaping our community today, their stories remind us that progress is built on courage, resilience, and determination. As we celebrate Women's History Month, let's continue to uplift, support, and empower the women and girls who will lead us into the future. Because when women rise, communities thrive. To learn more about Women's History Month, visit womenshistory.org.